Welcome to another episode of REV XP Presents. I'm Chris Mann, the SVP of REV XP, the gaming-focused division of the global integrated sports marketing agency Revolution. And today, I am honored to be joined by one of the greats in the industry, Amir Zonozi. What's up, Amir?
Yo, the honor is mine. The Manimal. Chris Mann, thanks for having me. Long time watcher, listener, first time with you. This is exciting.
Oh, I'm excited to have you on. You and I have done some work over the years, and this will be a little bit different of an episode because you don't represent a property. For those of you that don't know Amir, he is the co-founder and president of Zoomph. Zoomph is essentially, I don't let you describe Zoomph. Go ahead. Usually I do the intros, but you do it.
Yeah, no, we do partnership analytics, so we help brands understand the value of their activations with different properties, and we're the media nerds. We do the math.
And you guys work with Riot, NFL, 100 Thieves, Chase, WWE. When I was at Dignitas, we worked with you. We've worked with you in a bunch of stuff here at Revolution through our clients like Chipotle. And I'm always amazed at the incredible data that, we're able to kind of bring together and work with you on, things like comparing watch time, duration, and that stuff's really important when you think about the industry and how brands evaluate success in this business. Yeah,
absolutely paramount, and appreciate the kind words. We got a really amazing team here, and we got awesome clients that push us in the right direction. But, at the end of the day, these brands have goals that they got to hit, and, the activations can be fun, like, getting Tim the Tap Man with the brisket burrito, but they still want to see the results that it drives. So it's awesome to work on these amazing campaigns that you guys craft together with these brands and how to stay relevant with this audience. And it's a very unique audience, right? So it's we're lucky to be here and we're having fun.
Absolutely. And thank you. Amir is also a board member of Women in Sports Tech, just trying to really change the ratio of women to men in the front office. So really, something that's really important, in terms of diversity, inclusion within the gaming space as well. I know you're partnered with my old friends at Radiant GG. Shout out to Heather and John and the Dignitas team with that great platform that they have promoting diversity within for women in gaming. Did I miss anything?
No. I mean, it's selfish. The more diverse the team is, the better chances you are to win. So it's a great effort, and we want as many people, smart people in the gaming industry here with us working on the cool stuff that we get to do. So really cool stuff to get to work with both of them. Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's jump in. The question that everyone always loves to hear is, what games are you playing right now?
Yeah, man, I'm a old school Call of Duty kind of guy. I used to play Halo LAN parties back in the day. So team deathmatch is the way I go. I'll do a little Warzone, but I'm a noob at that still, like Battle Royale. Like I can do it with Fortnite, but that's the main thing. And then with my kids, I'll play with like Sonic Frontier, getting into Mario Kart. We'll take the batteries out of the Switch controller. Love the hat. I need that hat. But all very cool, so Call of Duty is my thing. Just I had COVID, so got a lot of quarantine time and logged in, got a couple prestige, just one actually, but just having fun.
That's awesome, man. Well, Sonic, this is I'll link you to this hat after. It's from a company called Rowing Blazers. I didn't even know you were going to say Sonic. I just happened to read this. I just got it in the mail the other day. I love Sonic. We're playing a ton of Sonic Frontiers on my son. We were Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails for Halloween. So Sonic plays a big role in our household, especially with the holidays coming up. So
you should. Yeah.
it's good. Old school is the best, man. Retro is cool. So Amir, let's jump in because a lot of times, again, properties are usually on this, and we're talking about ways that brands think about activating with them. But you have Zoomph, your position in the industry, you've seen a lot of really great activations. But one of the things, I would love your perspective on how brands should think about activating in gaming.
Yeah, so on our side, we're really focused on the competitive side with the partner exposure across the different matches. And so we're pulling content in, Twitch, YouTube, all the different social channels, TikTok, and then we're assessing that content with any sort of brand exposure, whether it's an asset like an analyst table or if it's a product placement like a Game Fuel can. And so all of that, we're assessing like what the value is and sort of breaking it down. And there's some ways that, how brands activate that they need to think about, because essentially what we're doing is we're tracking this and we're creating a media exposure value of like what the values that generated through that activation. So they can use that internally to understand, like, are they doing really great work? What things they can do better to improve the exposure? And ways that we found that like a lot of brands like don't really realize that at the end of the day, it's like brand recall, and you want to be activating where you can improve that. And so if there's a lot of logos on the screen, that's going to hurt the clutter with the brand recall focus in each one. And then you look at duration, you look at exposure. Is the logo here central in the middle, right? And so all these things have a factor in how that exposure is being done. And we have like a methodology of like sort of putting that through. But ways that we recommend for brands to activate with different properties is, look for ways of non-intrusive exposure rotations that you can implement during, some of the best times in the gameplay. As there's some sort of, big content or, a media backdrop or product placement on the caster desk. All those are different ways of like getting that exposure and white space that you can get in. But at the end of the day, it's got to be authentic. Like I love JBL Audio with 100 Thieves with JHB. And the sort of video segment they do there. I mentioned the Chipotle activations. I love that you can track that data with how many people are using the promo codes online and ordering from Carl or from Tim the Tapman and all the different things, or Halo and 100 Thieves. So like there's all these different ways to activate on, but when you're thinking about exposure or placement of your product, just understand there's key moments where you can activate on, and always happy to dive in deeper and sort of guide people on how to best activate. But look for times when you can be exposed during those key moments in the game. And that's what generally when you see the most exposure value.
Absolutely. And that's a big thing. It's like, there's the spot and dot activations, which absolutely need to be measured, right? The earned media value. That's so important. But I think a lot of the data that I've seen that's the most valuable, especially when you're trying to craft a strategy, is that the engagement, the social analytics that your guys are able to play, the comparative data that we've worked with you to compare. Obviously, you have to whitelist certain things, and it's like, hey, you're not going to give certain things, based on privacy. But there's a lot of really great data you guys have access to, and using that seems to be drive strategy.
Can I interrupt for a second?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So that's a really good thing that you mentioned, Chris, because a lot of people don't realize this. Especially in esports, where you won't have to. Well, I guess in esports is better than traditional sports, but with streamers giving access to their handles. But a lot of data you can't get without authentication. So I have no idea how many impressions you were doing on your Twitter account, Chris, but I can project that data. I can get really good at math and get really good in close. And that's what we've done essentially. So that allows us to do the benchmarking. We have like different algorithms for every platform. For example, on Twitter, your follower count is a variable that we look at, and we do a different algorithm based on the different ways that you fall into it. So we'll project that information that we don't get. That's a good way to test people in our space on like how good the math is, because you get the own data. Anything you authenticate, it's easy. It just comes from the platform. It gets tough when you don't have access to that and you have to use projections. And that's critical for brands because they're never going to get people to authenticate into their brand account, that data. So they have to live and breathe by that. And then the other thing that you mentioned is audience data, making sure that you're aligning to the audience segment. Niches get riches. The more niche you can make your strategy to a specific audience and the more heard they feel through the content that you create, the better they're going to activate on it and engage back. And in esports, you know how authentic you have to be. They can sniff that shit a mile away. So that's critical to implementing any of these campaigns.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and the question I was going to ask was essentially how does your data help drive brand strategy? And I think you just essentially answered that. I don't know if you have anything else to add, but I think for me, on the agency side, working with brands like Chipotle and others, trying to craft strategy in gaming in esports, gaming in everything that falls under kind of connecting brands to a younger, more tech-savvy consumer. Data, like the ideas, I love our ideas. There are, that's what we're paid for. But our ideas are only as strong as the data and insights, whether it's from our team and our partnerships that our team has. We have a great insights team at Revolution, or working with third parties like you guys. So I don't know if you have anything else to add about how, maybe examples of how your strategy how your data from Zoomph has actually helped brands drive strategy forward in gaming.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. It's essentially looking at the market itself. Where are you in comparison to your peers in your industry? Understanding the audience that you're activating around. I can't name the property, but they were doing a campaign with BMW, and the first video that they did with them was just basically a feature video, like put my foot under the trunk and it pops, and it got no engagement. Then we did this overlap. This is a very terrible Venn diagram for those watching. And so we did this Venn diagram analysis, and we looked at the audience in the middle, and we looked at people that engage with BMW and people that engage and follow the war and different organizations. And then when they look at that, we can say, okay, their favorite athlete is X. They're also dog lovers. They're into sustainability. And that can all be wove into the content and the storytelling as little aspects and little details that speak to that audience to get more engagement from them. And so that's a way on how we activate before the strategy, but then afterwards, measuring the success, looking at the exposure value. And like you said, not every brand wants exposure value. Some, if you're SoFi or if you're, crypto or so, a group that people don't know your name, like Truist right now, like a bank, SunTrust and BB&T came together. You want that exposure and understanding. And then there's the B2B brands that are looking for some sort of conversion or some sort of data that's getting handed across. But all those are different ways that we can give insights on whether this was a success or not, or did you reach the audience that you were trying to get to?
Absolutely. That's fantastic. Well, last question I want to tackle with you is something that is got to be your bread and butter. I mean, you guys are built on innovation in this space, and the gaming space is all built on innovation. What's the next hot game? What are some Web3 opportunities? Metaverse, this, and everything's innovation through digital. And you guys are measuring that. So if you look to the future, what are some exciting innovations that you're looking forward to? Or maybe some stuff that you guys are working on, maybe plant a little seed or give us a little insight as to some cool stuff that Zoomph has going on for the future.
Yeah, no, in Zoomph-wise, we're excited. Platforms like TikTok finally have an API that we can use. We're Boy Scouts. We don't do the scraping and stuff that's not through the partnership. We want that real-time data. So now being able to get into that is super exciting. As far as like, I don't know if this is revolutionary new, but I think the world is just catching on to the power of AI and ML. And so just using artificial intelligence and creating different models to capture brand exposure, whether it's transcripting a video, because they might talk about Chipotle, they might not have the logo there, they might have the burrito, but you can train AI to capture that. But like all just different ways of capturing what that brand exposure is. So different models as you can create to sort of do that and really automate the hard stuff. We're just trying to, there's so much you got to do in partnerships and activation and marketing role. It's like the more we can get AI to evolve to where it is and to get at a lower cost, I think those are really exciting. As a fan, AR is what I'm so excited about, and being able to understand the measurement or the partnership value of a metaverse sort of activation. Like, what is the value of dwell time for somebody in a Fortnite Pizza Hut activation zone or whatever it might be? That is super exciting to me. Until we get like AR, like I was a glass hole. I gotta admit that. And so like for me, it's like if we can get Apple and some of these organizations to get to that point, which I feel like we're really close, the opportunities of where we can go from there to branded exposures, us going to physical events and unlocking all that, it's just very exciting for me.
That's awesome. Yeah, you hit on some things. I mean, the one thing is, you build a great Fortnite creative map, and you spend all this money on the map and promotion, but then how do you measure success on that? It can't just be PR buzz. Maybe for some brands it is, but how do you measure success? Is it the number of players that come through? How much time are they spending on it? What is their brand? How do they feel about the brand after? There's so much that goes into these things. I think one of the biggest challenges in our industry right now, and things that I'm excited to work with your team and our team on in the future, is trying to really help brands uncover the true value of their partnerships, their investments within the gaming and esports ecosystem. And I think that's something that's lost. I mean, we still have partners, unfortunately, out there, whether it be on the talent side or team side, that don't have a third-party partnership with someone like you, that aren't giving big brands the necessary data back. Hey, this is what we got from Twitch. This is how many minutes watched. You got to step your game up. And I think, hopefully, after this, some folks will be able to understand why, because brands, especially big brands, need to understand the value of their investment. You can't just say, hey, this is how many Twitch minutes we watched, or this is how much impressions we got on Twitter or TikTok. It needs to be it needs more. And as a brand, as a property out there, it's really, on you. I was on the sell side. It's on you to bring that level of professionalism and investment to upsell, sell, and bring this space up. That's what it is in traditional sports, right? So why should it be different here?
Yeah, and getting to work with both, we see different aspects and different value adds that come from each one. I think first party data is going to be interesting as gaming gets better at like sort of collecting that information, understanding the audience stuff, but we're seeing trends of sports and gaming rising, of course, with the activity that's happening. More and more brands are coming to the table. For you to be a property out there, you need to showcase with all the competition out there why your engagement and why your attention that you're generating is so valuable and so important, and whose attention is it. These are critical for brands that are looking to find the type of consumer that they're trying to be in front of. It just makes it easier for them to activate if they're feeling more comfortable about it and with the more details you can provide.
Absolutely. Amir, thank you so much for joining us today. It has been a pleasure. Really enjoyed the conversation. I love working with you guys at Zoomph. It's always been great. We're all, I love the collaboration and, you guys helping us with all our activations and our strategy as we work through, through our clients. If people wanted to find you or find Zoomph, where could they look? We'll link in the description as well on YouTube.
Yeah, no, appreciate that. Zoomph, Z-O-M-P-H on all things social, Zonozi on all things social, Zonoz without the I for on Xbox Live. Hit me up for Call of Duty.
That's, you guys heard it. He'll help you hard carry to Prestige. Well, all of you guys out there, thank you so much for tuning in. We have one more episode after this one. We've got recording with the entire RevXP team. We're really excited. The guys behind the scenes. Big shout out to Colin. I'm trying to get Colin, who's behind the scenes, on camera for the last episode of the year. But we will be back next year as well. So thank you guys. Play some games, have some fun. Everyone enjoy the holidays, friends, family, and we'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.